Okay. Um. First of all, I just want to say thank you, God. I just heard this like clowns, like from the window saying, and then it won't, and you're like, oh my gosh. Obviously, with the bravery and the level of dignity that you have, for sure, this person has a good sense of reality. What I'm trying to say here is I'm a target individual. I've said something that I keep saying. Although our life is disturbed and manipulated and destroyed, these perps don't live in reality. That's how they gaslight us. That's why they do what they do in regard of try to push us into this insanity. They create a falsified reality where they know it's falsified, but they have to stay in character. It's like method acting, I think. The word that was used is a way to just stay within this falsified reality they would put together and then act accordingly. They call it their reality. Which kind of shows that in the first place, you're not somebody who has to. These perps are tasked to create a false reality, and they have to stay in character. Because you are surrounded by people who are creating storylines and falsify reality to create a facade of trying to present what's happening to you as it's anything but what is actually happening. The truth is this: I'm a test subject. That's the best way to describe what a target individual is. We are a test subject for this governmental program that utilizes this 21st century weapon system. They contract these people that are all kind of people. They're civilians, most unimpressive people, but this technology sophistication is so advanced that when they interact with you via this technology called V2K, you think that you're talking to like like the fiercest human being. Sometime, and what drive me like what just like is comical is when they interact with you, and I hope I'm being articulate. When they interact with you via V2K, they have these ways of trying to interact with you with these tonalities, right? They try to sound these menacing ways and scary ways, but the things they say is illogical, is childish. So you have a for example, in this case, somebody interacting with you, piping his voice into your brain, and he's just like, oh, how you gonna be in pain. And I said something like Roy Moore, right? Roy Moore is a man that the employee put in his program donated money to. He was allegedly picking up kids as young as 14 years old from the YMCA or whatever. It was bad stuff, right? For some reason, there's some restriction. Now you hear this fierce man who's laughing about how I'm going to be tortured and everything, but can't say the name of this man, who they make comical sketches about. And you're like, you see how it's pathetic you actually are. These people, and when they say it, they have to say when I can't hear it. So they make that name become a mysticful person when it's just Roy Moore. See, like they could not be able to say that right now. They gotta wait for me to not be able to be thinking about it. Now, the validation that these entities running this program, you see in the video I just made yesterday, it's clear that there's an issue of pedophilia, a very clear issue. Clear. This is not a conspiracy theory. There's actually bills created for that. This is reality. It's a reality that is literally in the Congress bills. It was a bill called S1413 and National Defense Network Abuse Act. A bill that was specifically was reactive to the fact there was so much child porn being done only using the DoD network. That a bill was created for it. That's reality. Right? You have this person, this perp, who then try to make me believe that I'm the... Listen, they do these manipulations that are being validated. They do. You're gonna hear that it's consistent and it's obvious. It's super obvious. Their job is to really dumb themselves down. Not only they are here manipulating your body in your brain, literally That's what they do. They are actively manipulating you. They are aware of that. They are participant of that. But they also have to act like it's your reactions. Can you imagine that? Imagine a life where you make somebody experience something, and then every day you have to be like, oh my gosh, oh, it's so you, it's so you. What a pathetic life. Well, I understand the enjoyment of being able to manipulate somebody because you feel like a god. I can imagine that the incentives of like the ability to make a human being experience what you want him to experience or her to experience. You can design the reaction that person wants. But this is the kind of reaction you design to experience, and then you have to play this retard. But use a tonality of like, oh, so this is how I'm like, I could live that life. I could have lived it. Listen, one thing I have to say is, even if this technology is extremely sophisticated, it can do some amazing things in regard of like the abilities of what it can do, even though what they do to us is disgusting. I couldn't imagine living life being this clown-like. Like the embarrassment, the shame, is not that they're doing that to us only, but it's they have to act so stupid. Sorry, they have to dumb themselves down. They have to play this dumb because it's part of how they're gonna gaslight you. But I understand why they're doing this. They have to dumb themselves down. It's gaslighting. It's like, oh, so you, no, really, we did that, oh, it's gonna kill you, it's gonna do that. Really? You make people force them to have sexual stimulation toward children. That's this manipulation you have. These people working for pedophiles or work for governmental entities that have shown a systematic issue with pedophilia. And then you try to sound out, no, it's so you. I couldn't imagine living that life. I can't. That's just too humiliating. How can I even look at myself and respect myself as a man or as a woman? They try to normalize it. They try to think, oh, this is the norm. No. I'm thankful that this is not the norm for me. That's why I have to be thankful to God. Thank you, God. Now, what I'm saying is some things that they don't like this kind of things because I bring that to their face every day. This is a video. I make videos every day, and I'm of course, beside me talking, I'm gonna show what they did and what is happening. So putting that in their face, making them having to, see themselves truly for what they're part of, right? It's not good. Now I know I'm talking to perps who truly want to stay in character, and they're gonna torture me to the point where they forget how dumb they have to make themselves be. Because this is a perps that try to make themselves like, well, no, like you bring the reality into their face. Like, oh, you're gonna pay. It's gonna be there. You know how they deflect? They talk about my torture. Oh, they're gonna stick woods up your butt. The things they say. Listen, I have to ask God to give me strength, but I'm not gonna stop what I'm gonna do. If what I'm saying makes it worse, I gotta keep saying it and ask God to give me strength for what I'm gonna go through. Because and not only that, I have to run to it. Because I will never let low-life bottom feels like them live in the escapism. When they see me scream in pain, they're gonna see me run to it. They're gonna see me run to this. Because these cowards and low-life and bottom feeders will get theirs. It's not gonna take much. You know what? I'm not worried about things coming back to them. I'm not. Right now, it actually could be even happening today. Right? I'm not worried about that. It's gonna happen. When is whenever. But I want them to see the level of dignity they make me have. Right now they tell me I'm gonna be raped because listen what trash life is. Real life. Like the reason why I have to be thankful to God is because I couldn't imagine myself doing what they do. They are using their own children to frame me. The frame is they're saying that I did something to a child here. But in fact, they're like, oh, you raped a child. I'm like, oh yeah, you're a child, right? Oh, you're the child again? I don't know, like, because they want to stay. They want to stay in character. Because I'm like, I'm not gonna let you. I'm not gonna keep you inspired to stay method acting. Let's just when we see each other, reveal the frame, and then we'll figure it out. But I'm not gonna let you stay within the character, because I just be condescending. Oh yeah, you're the child I raped, right? Oh, who is it? Because of course they're framing me that way. They are clowns. But understand, as a parent, you would never want to have your child be involved in that fashion. Now, I understand one way, like, oh, participating, like, part of the, like, the manipulation or the disorientation or even agitation. That's one thing. But to even try to tell your child, hey, we're gonna make it look like he raped you. Okay? You're gonna act a certain way. Okay? Sounds good? Okay. Imagine as a parent you do that. These perps will do this, or at least they're saying they're gonna do something like that. Do you understand the level of trashiness these bottom feeders are? I'm putting that in their face. And they really want to stay in characters. Look, you're trash. If you can have your child do that, you understand how low life you are? And they just try, no, because you really try to talk about Courtney. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, you're doing it. You care so much about her, right? You're in this program that's out here torturing so many women and children. For Courtney, you're trashy, low life, opportunist, bottom feeders. They don't care about this woman. They're just trying to find ways to feel okay doing what they do because they want to sound like they're fierce and they will pay. No, you don't care about Courtney. You're in program. You see, you should see what they do to women. I mean, you've seen it before, but I'm gonna bring it up. They're in a program where they're literally cutting vaginas up using this 21st century weapon system. When I mean cutting up, this technology can do things to your body remotely. You're gonna hear that this is what this man's gonna call the 21st century new weapon system that can destroy, harm, attack your body physiologically and your mind using just energy, like frequencies of some sort. That's what we're talking about. They involve in that. Women are being tortured in so many horrible ways. And all of a sudden, when they participate, they won't be like, oh no, no, trashy. Keep using your child like that. Trash, even using their own kids to frame people. Like, you see how disgusting. That's the kind of people. You think these people protect women or children? So I pray that they continue to live this slow life. And I said that it's mean-spirited. There's no way this child's gonna grow up to be normal. Everybody knows that. They're just playing dumb for now. So, for me, I want to make sure that I never let these people live into this escapism. Like I said, they won't even want to stay in this method acting. And to block out what I'm saying, they talk about how I'm going to be tortured, this and that. It's like, okay, I'm going to be tortured, I'm going to scream, it's going to destroy me, it's going to do this and that, and then I'm going to die. Okay, what you expect? Well, how's life is going to be for you? Yeah, you live good life, huh? Walk around. They know they're going to get theirs. And it won't take much. They don't need to be tortured or anything like that. This is going to come the way it needs to come. They just got to wait for it. Just like they wait for my torture. I'd rather die in hell. And I'm so thankful that I didn't have to live life the way these people live life. It's so disgusting. It's so easy too. That's the part. The facility, the easiness of it all and the evilness of it all. It's just, the combination of two is just so disgusting. Because these 21st century weaponries utilized onto us as test subject. So it doesn't take bravery or anything. This thing is done to us remotely. So you can do the most disgusting things. And these people, they employ childlike people. This man say, oh, it's going to destroy you. We destroyed you. I'm like, with the 21st century new weapon system, yeah. Wow, you're so powerful. Now, wow, you're so, wow, how did you guys be able to do that? Like, they are this childish. They are truly this childish. But I think that's the kind of people this governmental entities wants to contract. They need to stay in character. You just play this game, make it look like it's this, and like, oh, you destroyed them. Oh, you destroyed him. So wow, good job, hot dog. Yeah. So this is the ecosystem that's around me. Their job is to break me down, but also create a facade and also make me accepting of these manipulations. Every morning, every day, I make videos about it. The last video, you see the reality of what these entities have and how they try to change that into, project it onto me. They do these manipulations, which is because they can, and the stupidity, my thought process is so, I don't even want to waste my energy right now, because it's going to sound like gibberish if I explain how they play with my thought process to make me acceptive of this manipulation. It's truly a level of thought process that I don't even want to waste my energy. If I'm gonna speak, if I can articulate how stupid they make me think without sounding in this gibberish way, I'll try, but I don't think it's possible, because it's truly illogical. Like, that's why I say these people cannot have self-respect. It's magical. I so want to address it, articulate it, but it's going to sound like gibberish, and I know it's already hard for me to explain things that are less illogical. So let me just stick with this. So every day they do these manipulations. They make me have this reaction, the stimulation that I've brought up many times. This is what they do to a target individual. They are able to alter the mind. They are forcing you to have reactions that you will not experience naturally. They are forcing you to have a stimulation that you will not experience naturally. They are even forcing you to have thought process that you will not experience naturally unless they are in your brain manipulating you. And that's what's happening. The way they've made me experience what I'm experiencing today is disgusting. It's every day, and then they try to make me accepting of it. They make me experience this nasty manipulation, and they're like, now we mapped it. That they saw this happening as a child. That's what they do. And every time I look at a child, especially little girls, and this purpose said this are girls, especially little girls, they make me have, even me saying that right now, they give me feelings and sensations, because they're literally conditioning my brain in this way. And there's a perp who wants me to accept this. So every time I'm saying this and describing this, he says something to just be an aggressive stimuli. Burn. Perp. Because he wants me, as I'm describing the manipulation they make me have toward these little girls, to be accepting of it. And because I'm expressing myself in a way that I know is not me, he's gonna act a certain way. He truly wants me to be like, I should identify with this. And my thought process is so rewired, and some of it is so illogical. I will try to articulate how stupid they want me to be accepting of these manipulations, and try to not make it too gibberishy. I don't know if it's a word. Try to sound sensical in a sense, because it's stupid. It's just amazing what they can do to the thought process. They make me have this reaction toward these little girls, these babies. Then they give me the sensation, the stimulations, the thought process, and they're like, no, we mapped it to you when you were a kid. Or we mapped it, this is a test, we tested it, and you reacted this way. Well, you are making me experience this. This is an experience that is forced onto me, because you have the ability to do that, because you have the ability to alter my mind. My emotions, my sensation, my stimulation, you can do that. What I'm experiencing is what you can make me experience via this technology that can alter the mind. This is the result of my brain being manipulated. This is not an authentic result. It's not an authentic reaction. The reason why I'm reacting this way is because I'm being manipulated to react this way. It's that simple. Their job is to try to make me accepting of that. They even try to create we tested it. Even grown women with children try to make you think, no, we tested this, it was tested. So shut up. This technology, this program is about controlling human beings. It's about altering human beings. Now, maybe after I show this thing that I show, that I tend to bring up, is an old video. Matter of fact, this is something I discovered shortly after this in 2020 when I started making videos. I started looking for target individual, I got some information, and this video came up and kind of explained to me what was happening in a very overall concept that they can alter the mind. The Pentagon has been working on technology that can put information in your brain, manipulate you to have reaction or emotions. I was like, okay, that's what's happening. So this is it's video that, let me see. This is a video that kind of early on kind of put me on in regard of understanding what this is about. Then I found more videos and more videos, but this is an old video that I've been having in my playlist for a long time. So this video here.
Citizens being controlled by government-sanctioned experiments. Is Cheryl Welsh telling the truth, or are her claims absurd? Just another conspiracy theory that's impossible to prove. Maybe. But not if you listen to Nick Begich.
I think there's some good evidence that Cheryl Welsh and many of the other people I've spoken with have been victimized by this electromagnetic mind control experiments. The weapons of this century aren't bombs and bullets and ordnance, but electromagnetic energy targeting the human being, which is the greatest revolution in military affairs since gunpowder.
Begich is an expert in government mind control. He is convinced the Pentagon has mastered a technology once thought to be science fiction. The ability to broadcast information directly into the human brain.
Our government began spending a lot of time looking at how to modify behavior of human beings, going back to the Korean War. In fact, in a publication, Low Intensity Conflict in Modern Technology, they have a chapter on electromagnetic weapon systems, being able to not just debilitate someone, but actually even to stimulate certain activities within the brain.
But how?
HARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, which started as a joint effort of the Air Force and Navy. This is a very large array or field of antennas based in Alaska, radio frequency antennas.
HARP antennas transmit powerful radio signals into the upper atmosphere to study the effects on wireless communications. But Begich says HARP can also be used for more sinister ends.
HARP has announced several other programs and campaigns, and there's two areas that I got very concerned about. One was weather modification applications. The other was the effect on human beings. If you can modulate a signal that the brain locks onto, recognizes, and begins to mirror or follow the frequency following response, the brain rhythms change, then it creates a chemical cascade within the brain, and the emotions change. Now the resolution gets finer and finer and finer. And it used to just be about triggering emotions. You can change people's brain chemistry pretty readily, change their emotional state pretty easily. But when you get down to the idea of thoughts, to be able to manipulate those, that requires a different kind of sophistication.
Can we hear sounds?
So this is a video discovered in 2020. Kind of made me understand, okay, so they've been working on technology that can really manipulate your thought process, your brain, and make you have emotions and reaction designed for you to have. And he said that's pretty easy. That part was like the easy part, where emotions or reaction can make it's so easy. That's the easy part. They can easily do that. Now what's becoming more sophisticated is the thought process, right? Now, for some reason, they made me go back to see this video, right? They can control you. They actually have the ability to manipulate. This is about control, human being control. It's about mind control. I know it sounds crazy, but it's truly the ability of controlling human being. So I see these videos like, and I bring it up after a long time of not seeing it, right? Because this is like an old video that I knew about it, you know, I put in my playlist. It was literally in my playlist. And it's just straight to the point. It says, hey, they've been working on technology. These new weapon systems are going to be manipulate the brain. And that's what they do. They've been working on since the Korean War. They can do this easily. They can do it. So he comes back again. They bring that up again. Make me just go back to that video. I know when I'm controlled. I can feel something's just off. But I'm like, okay. But today, because at this point I've heard so many other videos and be more like, I'm more aware of this technology. I'm not aware. I've been more exposed to like what this technology do. I guess it's more of an impact now, because now I've heard other people talking about this technology, how like they try to capture your signal. Once they capture your signal, they can just manipulate your frequencies, and so and so now it even makes more sense than before. But I already knew what this man was saying. So your brain is being manipulated. You know what they're trying to use? This is the mind games they play. And I hope it doesn't sound like gibberish. You would think that this video validates me in the sense that they are altering your mind. They can change your emotion whenever they want. This technology is there. Easily change your emotion. You even hear him say, just that they easily can do that. That's old. The most sophisticated part now is the thought process, right? The way they are rearranging thought process, and this is that's when you know that these people have no shame too, because they're gonna try to gaslight me to think that this makes sense. They're making me think, oh, but you see, now you understand better how we can capture the brain, lock in the brain to a signal, and from that point be able to manipulate your brain. That they made me understand that part better. So what's happening is like they're making me understand better of who I am. So this pedophilia things is us who just studied you, and this they're using the fact that they make me understand better how the brain can be captured and then manipulated to make me acceptive of the pedophilia things that I'm experiencing today, which is because they can manipulate my brain this way, like this man said. It is so, I'm like, Jesus, these people, your thought process are so manipulated in this way, and they're really trying to make you accepting of that. It's crazy. They're trying to validate themselves, but tell me, hey, you see, we are making you understand the fact that the brain can be captured in this fashion before being manipulated to make you acceptive of these pedophilia things that we were not manipulating you to experience. Little girls, it's you, we mapped it. The level of shamelessness is magical. And in my brain, because my brain is hooked to this device that I have captured my brain, they really are trying to make sense of it using my thought process. It is magical to imagine people who are willing to dumb themselves down to this point. This video that I discovered in 2020 validates that my brain is being altered. The reason why I'm having this reaction toward these babies, as is mentioned here, is because they are altering my mind, my emotions, my reaction, stimulation in my thought process. This is why I'm having this reaction. I understood that then, and I understand now today even more. They're trying to say the reason why I'm experiencing, they try to say, the validation they try to utilize is like, hey, now you know better how we're capturing the brain. Because we helped you think, understand that better. So you see, we're not manipulating your brain to have this reaction toward this kid, this baby. We're just showing you who you are. It is clown-like. As I'm saying that, these perps who are contracted here to disorient me, to deflect, are telling me how I'm gonna be raped, how I'm going to be tortured, I'm going to be castrated, all these things they're saying to me right now, because this is how they try to deflect from the level of illogicalness they want me to be acceptive of, because they have the ability to manipulate my thought process to that level. It is disturbing. Now, thankfully for now, at least I'm able to articulate this. I'm able to articulate this, and I'm able to see things for what they are. I know shortly my brain's gonna go further away, but I hope that it doesn't sound too much like a gibberish, because it's just as illogical as it gets. They're trying to use this video of men describing how the brain can be altered to make me think that they're not altering my mind to have this reaction toward these kids. Do you understand the level of shamelessness? It's amazing. Now, let's go back to what they make me experience, this emotion and stimulation, like this man also said. As he describes the technology.
Designed to interact with the human nervous system in order to remotely pick up on someone's neural network or EEG, and not only receive that and monitor it, but manipulate it and place it back into the victim to control their emotions or control their actions or bodily functions for that matter. The other more recent term we have for that is EEG heterodyning or EEG cloning. The difference between EEG heterodyning and EEG cloning would be, let's say, me remotely receiving your EEG and then duplicating it and putting that in another person to give them your same thoughts or feelings or physical reactions. EEG heterodyning would be receiving your EEG, manipulating it to put it back inside your head to give us a desired physical reaction or emotional reaction.
So this man described exactly the same thing, but in even more simplistic way. That this EEG heterodyning is basically capture your neural network, use whatever device they utilize to capture those neural network, rearrange it the way they want it, and put it back in your brain to make you react or have the reaction they want you to have, or thought process or emotions that they want you to have. Right? Validating the fact that this technology is altering you. And when it comes to the thought process, I was trying to articulate and try to not to sound like I'm speaking in gibberish, is this. This man describes it here on how thought process are being, and I gotta be careful because they're gonna rewire.
That can pipe voices into an individual's head. And once you can do that, you can control them using neuro-linguistic programming techniques. You're rewiring their thought processes and brains.
What he say here is they're rewiring
their thought processes and brains.
So literally rewiring the thought process in brain. That's why my thought can be going to this nonsensical processing of my thoughts. It makes no sense. But we are just test subject to this technology, and they like this man continues to say here, is like they use human samples.
Manipulate people. I don't know if you know this, but there's something called hyper game theory. How do you? They want to see if they can manipulate people to do things that are irrational, but also walk them to their death. And so you can call it a eugenics program. And they need to sample all cultures, language throughout the world to define the probability matrices of which tricks, techniques, deception works. So how do you control the brain? Most people don't.
As I was listening to that, as always, they were playing my thought process in ways. But so you heard that the men say they are using different human people from all the different cultures, gender, ages, and continue to expand this matrix of trickeries and deception that works, and see what works better. And so we're just like test subjects for this weapon system. We're just these guinea pigs that the government is utilizing, right? And for example, some of the trickeries is the facades that paints try to make you think that this is something else, but this massive government that's doing this. For example, I'm hearing some childlike trash like, oh, we're not. It's like, okay, when this childlike individuals say we're not via V2K, right, they're trying to make me think that what's happening to me is being applied by or the people in charge of this, or this is about like a group of like avenging femme fatale who are just some feminist progressive liberal. It's so good. It just makes no sense. This is obviously I know it's the psyop. It's a psyop, and it's kind of a comical psyop almost. It's almost comical because obviously it's the government running this program. Tomorrow whoever doing that to me doesn't, tomorrow can be the opposite, right? It doesn't matter. It's the government doing that. You got to understand the reality of things. It's not this Russian organization crime. Is the government do you not these entities that have been working on this technology since the 60s and the 50s is responsible for what's happened to me because I am a test subject. Now this trash they contracted can come in all shape and form. It's just more of a psyop. It's a facade. It's like trying to present a false reality so you don't see reality. You don't see what's really behind this, who's really in charge of this. Not this bullshit that they present here. That's comical. Like, this is the reality. This is the reality.
In 1965, DARPA launched Project Pandora, which studied the possibility of using microwave radiation to control human behavior. The project reportedly ended in 1969, but DARPA's investigation of how machines can affect and possibly control the brain continues to this day.
That's the reality. The psyops, the clownery, what they try to present is this group with their money. I invest. It's so comical, and they stay in character too. Huh? Oh, they come in all. You should. No shame. Look, the level of clownery is magical. So this is how bad they want you to see this falsified reality, and they stay in character, gimmicky as it gets. So going back to the things they make me experience, I take screenshot of every time they do that to me, because I'm gonna have maybe my daily videos, or not even my multiple times a day, maybe 3 times of making my videos in regard of what they do to me. I'm never going to identify. They want you to identify with how they make you react to children or whatever in this disgusting way. They want you to identify with it. They want you to feel guilty. They want you to think, oh my gosh, they caught you. Oh, you've been exposed. Because they make you have these reactions. And then they're supposed to make you're supposed to think, oh my gosh, oh, now listen, I'm not like, oh my gosh, they're coming. No, I'm like, oh, the experience is still disgusting, even though it's not yours. You're being manipulated to experience this reaction. You still don't like that. It's disturbing. It's disgusting that I'm forced to experience this. I'm on like dating apps and whatever, and whenever there's children, these little girls or even little boys, no matter what, but they try to. Let me show you. This. I'm on dating app. This kid comes up, stimulation. This baby comes out, stimulations. This kid come up, stimulations. I'm supposed to be like accepting, oh, this little girl is real. stimulation. I know it's not natural. The first one, they really try to create something in my brain, create some sensation, and like let some brain chemicals. They do force these reactions that I know is manipulated. I know it's not natural. Right now, I can feel some brain chemical being released because they can do these things. They can do these manipulations that this man describes, and these emotions that this man.
Citizens being controlled by government-sanctioned experiments. Is Cheryl Welch telling the truth, or are her claims absurd? Just another conspiracy theory that's impossible to prove. Maybe, but not if you listen to Nick Begich.
I think there's some good evidence that Cheryl Welch and many of the other people I've spoken with have been victimized by this electromagnetic mind control experiments. The weapons of this century aren't bombs and bullets and ordnance, but electromagnetic energy targeting the human being, which is the greatest revolution in military affairs since gunpowder.
Begich is an expert in government mind control. He is convinced the Pentagon has mastered a technology once thought to be science fiction, the ability to broadcast information directly into the human brain.
Our government began spending a lot of time looking at how to modify behavior of human beings. Going back to the Korean War, in fact, in a publication, Low Intensity Conflict in Modern Technology, they have a chapter on electromagnetic weapon systems, being able to not just debilitate someone, but actually even to stimulate certain activities within the brain.
But how?
HARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, which started as a joint effort of the Air Force and Navy. This is a very large array or field of antennas based in Alaska, radio frequency antennas.
HARP antennas transmit powerful radio signals into the upper atmosphere to study the effects on wireless communications. But Baggage says HARP can also be used for more sinister ends.
HARP has announced several other programs and campaigns, and there's two areas that I got very concerned about. One was weather modification applications. The other was the effect on human beings. If you can modulate a signal that the brain locks onto, recognizes, and begins to mirror or follow the frequency following response, the brain rhythms change, then it creates a chemical cascade within the brain, and the emotions change. Now the resolution gets finer and finer and finer, and it used to just be about triggering emotions. You can change people's brain chemistry pretty readily, change their emotional state pretty easily. But when you get down to the idea of thoughts, being able to manipulate those, that requires a different kind of sophistication.
So, as he explained, they can make me have this emotion, manipulate my thoughts and my reactions. So they do that toward children, these little girls. And it's not unique to me. This is something they've done to others. And so they want you to identify with this manipulation. But before I do that, let me just bring up the fact that this is not something unique. That these tactics of forcing stimulation toward children or reactions or thought process that are pedophilia-centric is done onto others. And, in my brain, they're just having these battles, which I'll get to that, because
it is dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophilia. This disgusting thing.
that's Jackie. She's no longer alive, but she left this testimonial. And she described this, she acknowledged there's people around her doing this. And the word that she didn't finish saying is pedophilia, thoughts of pedophilia. This is Mariana. It is.
It's what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams and video.
They're saying things to counter that, but I'll get to that after you listen to how commonly this pedophilia type of tormenting, actually called the pedophilia type of torture, is applied.
This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems in the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. And vice versa.
You understand? There's a pattern here on how they forcing people to have these reactions. And let me just wrap it up with this woman. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear that. But talk about how they make her react.
First was with my dog. I am very playful with my pet, and suddenly one day that I was petting him, I felt strange, in the sense of the word. I thought, this is strange, and then afterwards that strange sensation continued. Then in that moment I realized that was impost. So I thought, look at this losers, don't know how to put me down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing. And then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ASS. So just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today they continue with the programming and perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use of people, better said young people, also children at home.
You hear her saying how they do this program perversion, and they started off with the dog, then they start doing that toward people, young people, children, and she also said homosexuals, which they've done that to me, but like, that's not going to break me down. So when I see these kids, this baby, for example, and by the way, when they say something in my brain, they try to make me imagine this baby, which is still, or even this baby, they have me have this reaction. But what they do after having me have this reaction, I like to bring that up all the time. You hear a pattern of how they manipulate the brain. They make me have this nasty reaction, and then they bring up the fact that, no, but remember when you were in middle school, when I was around this age, I'm not going to let this low life live their fantasy. Target individuals do not identify with this manipulation. That is what it's supposed to do. When I was a kid around this age, I did some dumb thing to myself that I never do, and they have to exaggerate. What was being said as I was showing this video about the pedophilia type of issue, the pedophilia type of torture they do, how almost all target individuals are forced to see child porn in their brain and manipulate them to experience this thing. Somebody said, you used her hand. What she was trying to say is she was trying to exaggerate what I did to myself when I was in middle school as a child. Right? Something that never happened again, which she wished was the case, that I used her hand, when in reality I did something to myself. They're saying that what they do is they make my brain, and they stimulate me. What they do right now is they make my brain, the brain that I had at some point, or something that I experienced at some point when I was a child. So the reason why I'm looking at these little kids and getting this reaction is not that they're manipulating me. They're mapping my brain to me as a child, or there was something there, but they just bring it up and try to make me acceptive that they're not manipulating my brain, they're not altering my brain to make me have these reactions. Truly having thought process to try to make me acceptive of that, when you clearly hear that my brain is being, clearly hear that the brain is being altered with this technology that can alter the mind, and they have these tactics of doing these things that is aimed toward children to disorient you, to break you down, using pedophilia as a way to break you psychologically, cognitively. It's hard to function when you deal with this. Can you imagine every time I see a little girl, I'm forced to get sexual stimulation, and then you use her hand, mapped it to you as a kid, try to exaggerate, talk about me as a child. I'm like, I'm a grown man, I'm a grown adult, I know who I am. These manipulations as manipulation, like they are manipulation. You are forcing me to experience that. You're altering my brain one way or another to experience this reaction, like this man said. You are playing my libido, you're playing my thought process, my experience, my emotions, my brain chemicals to make me have a reaction that's sexual toward these babies. And then you're trying to make me acceptive of these manipulations. Right now, I'm still feeling sex stimulations that they want me to think that, oh, this is just natural. It's not us doing anything to you. Oh, we're just mapping. When you can clearly hear that they manipulate the brain this way. And by the way, this emotions and stimulation they want me to experience, or they want me to think I experienced as a kid, they can also manipulate your memory to put that in your memories, so it feels like there's something you experience.
Able to impose any information on the brain of a person, presumably by some kind of waves, which in the mind take the form of voices, thoughts and images and imagination. In addition to this kind of implanting information that they need, they manipulate the psyche so that the information is written into your memory. Then by stimulating the certain regions in the brain, they can retrieve this information and present it as your own memory. This is the conclusion that can be made judging by the influence they have been making on me with their psychotronic weapons, for example artificial thoughts, imagination, and mental torture.
That's what they do. So I will never identify with this manipulation. And I'm thankful that I was able to articulate the obviousness of here. Because what's happening is, unfortunately, we are test subjects. And they're using this 21st century, which I'm going to bring up this video again.
Maybe later got turned over. To assess the noise in the room. It's contributed, and that's just in the RF, not to mention everything else that we've done. So the human body couples with external fields of all kinds. For radio frequency, you can look at the Radio Frequency Dosimetry Handbook, 1986, University of Utah, produced for the Air Force. It gives you the resonant frequencies for each vital organ so that you can send in a radio signal that will couple with the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, and cause them to malfunction so that you can degrade the performance of your adversary. The new weapon systems being developed today will attack the mind, the body, and our physiology on an energetic level. Not with bullets and bombs. It's a perfect Republican weapon. No offense to Republicans here, but you don't want to destroy the property. You're going to have to rebuild it afterwards. This is a weapon systems of the 21st century.
This is the weapon system of the 21st century. We're just test subject to it. And it attacks your body, physiologically, and your mind. Altering your mind in so many ways. I accepted that this is the way they are going to break me down. Using this pedophilia type of tormenting they've done to others. I'm not unique in that. I just need to understand they're going to act accordingly, make it look like they don't alter the mind, even though it's so obvious they can do that easily, and try to make me think, no, they mapped it to me as a kid. You use her hand, try to make me accepting of these manipulations. I'll never subscribe and identify with it. And by the way, they're working for governmental entities that actually have things of that nature regarding pedophilia. And they are altering who I am, changing who I am, like Jackie, to try to make me acceptive of this manipulation. Tell my target individuals, stay strong.